The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again regardless of the outcome, which in roguelike games is death. If you're insane, join me while I cover the top 5 free roguelike games on Steam you don't know about. Relic Hunters Zero Remix is a tactical, fast-paced shooter about defeating evil space creatures with a variety of weapons, characters, and relics. It plays like a top-down twin-stick shooter with a bit more precision. You can aim your weapon to show a laser sight to help you line up your shots. The different characters all have different stats, attacks, and abilities, and each character is unlocked by completing a specific challenge. You have a regular health bar as well as a shield that recharges if you don't take damage for a bit. Along with your health gauges, there's a stamina bar which is used to sprint and dash. Around arenas, you'll find grenade, health, and extra shield pickups, along with ammo for the 3 different weapon types. The green ammo is for lighter weapons, red is for medium, and blue is for heavy. The enemy types build well in difficulty throughout the run, and I do enjoy the enemies in the game. I just wish there were more enemy types. There's only a handful of enemy types which get repetitive after a while. After completing a combat encounter, there's a chance for a relic piece to be buried somewhere. Once you find it using the arrow indicator, you dig up a piece of the relic. Find all 3 pieces and you permanently have that relic, which can be equipped before a run and gives you a buff. There's an item shop every few levels as well, where you can buy relics, ammo, and weapons if you have enough money saved from killing the enemies. There's a lot of depth to this game with all of its characters I have yet to unlock, relics to find, weapon types, and enemies. I really have no idea why this game is free, but if you're looking for a really polished roguelike twin-stick shooter, then I recommend Relic Hunters Zero Remix. Rogue Glitch is a colorful action roguelite focused on platforming and dodging enemies. It has a really unique combat system where you have to stand close to an enemy for your projectiles to start firing at them automatically. You'll have to maneuver around rooms, avoiding enemies while still being close enough to attack them. You can also use a ground pound style attack to deal damage 3 times before you have to touch the ground again to recharge it. You start off only having access to the first of the game's 6 zones. Every time you beat a zone, this guy smashes you, making you lose all of your progress, but you unlock the next zone as well as new items you can find and new characters that have different stats and abilities. During runs, you go from room to room where you clear out all of the enemies and then teleport to an adjacent room. There was a lot of variety to the rooms, like a hospital room where you could spend coins to heal yourself, or a treasure room where you can get an upgrade, for example. You either find upgrades from treasure rooms, or if a chest drops after you defeat a room of enemies, then you can open it for an upgrade if you have enough coins. The upgrades synergize really well because most of them are passive, meaning they activate automatically, though there are some active ones that are useful as well. The enemy design was excellent. They have lots of different behaviors that you have to learn if you want to survive. Then there's a boss fight at the end of every zone that's a nice challenge for you to figure out. If you're looking for a polished action platformer with really layered upgrades and a unique combat system, then I recommend Rogue Glitch. Synthetic Arena is a top-down roguelite action shooter where you defend yourself and your base from waves of enemy robots. You pick a character that each have unique attributes. I went with the Raider class, which gives you 2 dash charges, a powerful melee attack, and a small AoE attack that you can place anywhere, all of which are on a cooldown. You pick from one of 3 different maps that each have a unique layout and require different strategies. You have turrets to help you defend the core from enemies, but they can be destroyed, which costs you money to fix them. You keep fighting waves of harder and harder enemies until either you die or the core is destroyed. The shooting is really weighty and combat overall is fantastic. I especially enjoyed the reload mechanic as it's similar to games like Alien Swarm. You have to press a button to eject the clip and then press a different button to reload and then time the reload to when it's in the green zone to reload your gun faster. Your gun can also jam and you have to spam reload to fix it. There's a lot of nuances to the combat like that, like standing still makes you more accurate, for example. Every few waves you can take a break and buy upgrades and new weapons from the shops. Some upgrades are passive and others are new abilities you activate. It gets really hectic trying to use all of your abilities efficiently while dodging and shooting enemies. You can level up your character class, which is where the roguelite elements come in. Obviously you have to restart from the beginning, but you do keep your level, which gives you passive upgrades, making the game easier the more you level up your class. If you're looking for a wave-based top-down shooter with lots of depth and punchy combat, then I recommend Synthetic Arena. Starbreak is a 2D action platformer MMO where you explore sci-fi worlds for loot and fight alongside other players killing aliens. You pick a level you want to go through from the hub ship, and then you and whoever else is in that level will fight alongside you throughout the level. There's 4 different classes in the game known as shells, which you unlock if you reach a high enough level during one of your previous lives. You have a regular attack, secondary attack, and special attack, which you can change based on the loot you get and what shell you're playing as. When you die, you lose all of your gear and current level. The only thing you can maintain is the shells if you previously unlocked them. During levels, you'll find loot, which you can equip to upgrade your current shell. After you complete a level, you go back to the hub area where you can buy new gear. Really, my only complaint with this game is that there's not enough players in every level, so oftentimes it'll just be you or like one other person, which kinda defeats the whole MMO purpose the game was designed around. But the variety of loot, levels, and enemy design kept me playing over and over again to try and unlock every shell and see what kind of gear I would find. If you're looking for an MMO roguelike with a lot of depth, then I recommend Starbreak. Famaze is a retro-themed roguelike adventure game where you play as either a knight, thief, or wizard, each with unique powers. The gameplay is pretty simple and plays like an old-school dungeon crawler. You have to navigate through the maze-like level and find a key, which you then use to unlock a door to the next area. You repeat that in every level as you level up, which gives you more health and fight new enemies along the way. What makes each character unique is which item they have at the start of every room and what their ability is. On the bottom half of the screen you can see your character and the amount of hits he can take represented by the number above him. On the top half of the screen you can see how much XP you have, which items you're carrying, and the minimap. On the minimap you can see which directions you can go and colored spots which represent things you can interact with. You can also open up a full-size map to see what areas you've already covered and what type of things are on the map. Red is an enemy, yellow is gold, blue is something good, and white is the door to the next area. You can only carry 2 items at a time, and the key to the next area is one of them. So you have to plan your route back to the locked door since you only have 1 item to work with. If you're looking for a simple old-school roguelike going back to the days of the dungeon crawler, then I recommend Famaze. Hey there, I just thought I'd let you know that there's gonna be a few, bonus games! Bloody Walls is an action zombie shooter that takes place after an accident in a bioweapon research facility. The goal is to fight through all of the floors of zombies to beat the game. The enemy design is really varied and you have to learn the behaviors of all of them if you want to survive. There's also items you can find around levels that you can give to people on the ground floor for a reward. The combat is really unique where each weapon is given a different range of effectiveness. The shotgun you have to be super close to do max damage, while the assault rifle can shoot farther away but does less damage, for example. There's not much replay value once you beat it, so it's not really a roguelike, but you do have to restart if you die. So if you're looking for a retro-style game with a unique combat system, then I recommend Bloody Walls. Sword Rogue is a simple roguelike action game where you fight waves of enemies that get progressively harder. You have a weapon that consists of either a sword, pistol, or a shotgun you pick at the start of each run, and a skill you choose at the end of the first level. After every level, you pick an upgrade which can either upgrade your character or your skill. The enemy design is super basic, they just kind of bounce around the screen at varying speeds and shoot at you. It kind of reminds me of the good old days of Flash games growing up, so if you're looking for a simple roguelike harkening back to the days of Flash, then I recommend Sword Rogue. Also, you should check out OMFG 1 Million Fatal Guns. It would definitely be on the list, but I already covered it in my video on the top 5 free FPS Steam games you don't know about part 2, which I'll link in the description. Those were the top 5 free roguelike games on Steam you didn't know about. I'll have my playlist of free Steam games you don't know about linked in the description below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with this ongoing series.